and welcome all. This is Dave White sitting in for the one and only Tom O'Brien. And he's out in Las Vegas with Andy Heck. And talked to Andy about 6 o'clock, just after he finished his show last night. Haven't heard anything from the guys. So maybe what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. Maybe we don't know just yet. Anyway, Tom will be back on Monday. I am sitting in for him. But normally we do the Tech Insider Hour anyway at this time, so we will be continuing on with it. Anyway, we're going to get pretty much to the markets. Ended up closing up about 9 points, a little bit more than I thought we were. I thought the market probably would be a little flat today. Volume came in rather strong at 3.5 billion shares on the New York Consolidated Tape. That's off about 300 million from yesterday. So volume did decrease a little as we went up into these highs. If you're really looking for moves back up to the highs, you're probably looking for 4.5 billion, 4.2 billion. So volume is a little bit light today as we do go a little higher. And, of course, we're probably hitting a few technical points in the markets. But that's pretty much it. The NASDAQ was up 16 points. The Dow was up 74 points. And pretty much finished a week off with earnings that were, for the most part, lackluster. We'll get into some of that today. You can always give me a call at 877-927-6648. That's 877-927-6648. You can also email me at path@tfnn.com. And if you don't want to call in, and if you're in the den, you can also give a little treat out there for us, and we'll try to take care of it. Anyway, we'll get right to the technical stuff first. News of interest to technical traders. And I mean technical is in tech, not chart reading. But anyway, we will go through as much as we could. Of course, we had a lot of earnings today. GE a little bit up. Honeywell didn't do so well on earnings and is down. In fact, I think I actually have the quotes up here. If I can find them real quick. Did we have them? No. I think that's from yesterday. I will pop these up here. I think these are the ones. Did we get them? No. Messed up here. Anyway, we had a few of them. Let's see. They're gone for some reason. Anyway, GE was up a little bit. Honeywell was down a couple of bucks. Tesla had a small bounce during the day. Mattel came out with lower earnings, but was up a little bit. Caterpillar kind of was in a no man's land today. Of course, breaking news about midday was that the United Airlines CEO, the new one, who just came along 2 weeks ago, because, of course, the old one had done some nasty stuff. At least it was alleged, and he had to leave. They brought in the new guy, and guess what? His ticker didn't tick today. He's in the hospital with a heart attack, and they may be replacing him. So that was off a couple of percent today. Of course, one of the bigger news of the day was Schlumberger with their earnings and talking about some of the stuff that they are thinking about in the near future. They were off at 2%. Doesn't look like there's any real rest in the oil sector. Of course, it was off almost 4% for the week for crude. And I think that pretty much wraps up everything. Samsung is out this week, in fact, last night, and they were talking about getting into the financial business. Of course, some of the earliest wins for BlackBerry were in the finance and Wall Street department. They're getting together with Thomson Reuters, who's actually working very hard to go up against Bloomberg for financial information. So Samsung looks like they will be making specialized devices, maybe a little bit more secure, to work with the Thomson Reuters company and go after some of that BlackBerry business. Of course, BlackBerry's basically one of the living dead stocks and could at any time slide into the sea. They have very little chance of doing anything. Of course, they've been releasing even Android phones lately to try to get any business going. They were, of course, one of the most secure networks available in BlackBerry, I mean, for a long time, used a whole lot in Washington, D.C., and actually in Wall Street and other places where security was paramount. That security kind of faded over time. But there's still a lot of those customers that have BlackBerries, and Samsung thinks that maybe they can put that last nail in the coffin of BlackBerry. I don't think it would be that tough. Other things out here, of course, Netflix had their earnings this week. They blamed a lot of things, but really got into the whole chip-based credit cards. If you missed our discussion last week with Tom O'Brien, we talked about how the FBI had actually given a warning on these chip-based companies. If you want a video on why these chip-based credit cards still have big problems, you can email me at path@tfnn.com. I'll be able to send you the link to the gentleman that actually designed it and his warnings on it. But he came out this week after the FBI issue and talked about when he designed it in 2003 and all the workarounds already that everybody's already figured out in Europe. Of course, the idea is that they'll put the smart chip on there. And the FBI didn't quite like last week that everybody was going to be using just the smart chip and a signature. They wanted it to go to a chip and pin-based credit card system. Well, Netflix says that they've got a lot of people that the credit cards just didn't go through because they sent out new credit cards, haven't sat down and spent the time to go put them back on. And at $9 or $10 a month, you know, not a big deal, but some people probably just say, you know, when I want to, I'll go back and put in the new credit card and that will be it. Of course, this has been an ongoing theme for many companies that depend on credit card billings on a monthly basis. Many of those most hacked of sites like Home Depot and others have seen those credit cards, of course, all have to be reissued and have been a big deal. Anyway, Netflix blaming new cards with new numbers and chip and pin-based stuff. But probably a bigger story here. We'll be talking about it when we come back.